With all the roster speculation that's been flooding through forums like Smashboards, we see nominations for a lot of absurd characters. Some crazy ones that come to my mind are the Stork from Yoshi's Island, Goku from Dragon Ball, and pretty much every single Pokemon there is. Now, as you look through these support threads and read the reasons that people list off for support, you start to think about the characters that already have been in the Smash games. Why were clone characters like Dr. Mario and Pichu put into Smash? Was their inclusion really necessary? What about characters like the Ice Climbers? It's a topic that really never crossed your mind, but it's hard to ignore once you start thinking about it. This also brings up a question that I almost dare not to ask. Is Sakurai really the best at choosing characters for Smash? Hey gamers, Captain Ganondorf here, bringing you some trash talk about some of your favorite characters. But before I begin, I'm going to define an important term that we'll be using. All-Star. When I'm talking about Nintendo's All-Stars or All-Star series, or All-Star characters, I'm talking about the most popular, most important, and best-selling series and characters. For example, Mario is Nintendo's All-Star because he's the most popular Nintendo character. Cubivore is not an All-Star series because, well, I mean, who's even heard of Cubivore? Okay, I mean, I have, but definitely does not deserve a rep in Smash Bros. Is what I'm saying. So if you're a Cubivore fan, or a fan of some other lame character in their game, then go grab your favorite punching bag and buckle up, because this may be one tough ride. Let's start at the beginning, shall we? Smash 64 started things off with our 12 most beloved Nintendo All-Stars. For the first time ever, we were able to play Link against Mario, Pichu against Fox, Kirby against Jigglypuff? Okay, let's try that again. Samus against Ness? What? I mean, if I was still 12, I'd be really confused. I probably wouldn't even know who Ness was if it weren't for Smash Bros. Captain Falcon either, but I mean, looking at sales, it's obvious to see why Mario, Donkey Kong, Link, Samus, Kirby, Fox, Captain Falcon, and Pikachu made it into the first Smash game. They are Nintendo's most popular characters, hailing from the best-selling 64 and the SNES games. Today, Falcon may look a little odd for a choice, but back in the day, his game was actually the 14th best-selling SNES game, with 6 slots above Falcon being just Mario and DK games. Actually, looking at the SNES list, F-Zero makes Super Metroid look like a chump with nearly double the amount sold. Still, Metroid 1 and 2 make up for that a lot. So that's 8 characters that obviously should have made it into the original Smash that did, but what about the other 4? Why were Yoshi, Luigi, Jigglypuff, and Ness included? Well, even though Mother is not a well-known series in America, yes, Mother, the game Ness is from. Maybe you've heard of Earthbound? Yes? No? Well, I hope so, because they're the same thing. Anyway, even though Mother isn't well known in America, at the time Mother 1 and 2 had a combined sale of 700,000 games sold. Not Mario level, I know, but still, that's reasonable enough for the series to be considered an all-star series. Okay, so Mother should definitely have gotten a rep because it was popular in Japan. But why Ness? I mean, why not Ninten from Mother 1, in case you have never played the game or never heard of him? He sounds better for Nintendo, for like a mascot anyway. Nintendo, notice a resemblance? Well, the only reason that makes sense to me is that Ness was newer, and maybe Sakurai thought that Mother series was going to get another game starring Ness. Which was more likely since Mother 2 was released in America, while Mother 1 was not. So Ness was the choice for the Mother series. Not really the best choice, but not the worst. I mean, you only really had a handful of characters you could have picked from. So why was Yoshi added then? Well, this one's simple but odd. Yoshi's not really a Nintendo All-Star in my opinion. Sure, he's a super popular character, but he's only really popular because he's in Mario World. Even in his game, Mario is being transported by Yoshi. I mean, even in the Yoshi game, Mario's in it. The reason why Yoshi was added is because of the amazing sales that it had. 4 million for the first game and 2 million for the second. That's something that's very hard to ignore. Alright, then how about Luigi? I mean, if Yoshi's added in, then it surely makes sense for Luigi to be added, right? He is Mario's brother, after all. Well, I mean, you could say that, but you could also ask why Bowser wasn't added in then. He's the main villain, after all. You could ask the same about Ganon and Ridley, too. Perhaps at this point Sakurai thought those characters were too big to be added into Smash. Okay, I'm sorry for that. I had to put that in there. No, the real reason why Luigi was chosen over the potential other characters is a simple one. He's Mario's brother. And I know I've said that before, but he's a lot like Mario, especially in Smash 64. He's practically a clone of Mario in that game, which means he was very easy for the developers to make, and it took a lot less time to add him in than it would have taken to add in a main villain. Okay, so that leaves Jigglypuff, and this is where I'm going to flip things over a little bit. I'm going to start off by saying that I don't think Yoshi or Luigi should have been in Smash 64, but at least I can see why they were added in. Jigglypuff, on the other hand, is a different story. Jigglypuff is not the main character of Pokemon, manga or anime. Jigglypuff is not a main villain in Pokemon. In the anime, Jigglypuff is only in 4 episodes of Season 1. I mean, maybe more, but I scoured through the whole episode list guide and whatever else I could find, and I can only see 4 episodes out of the entire, 100 first season episodes. Jigglypuff didn't start in any kind of video game of some sort. No. Just the starters. Not even Pikachu really started in those. So it was really only one of the 151 Pokemon. That's the only reason why it was added in. I don't know. Jigglypuff's not an all-star. Jigglypuff has attributes similar to Kirby, which could make it a potential clone, but really it didn't have any similar B moves, or it had a few similar A moves, but mostly just aerials. So there's no real reason for Jigglypuff to be in 64 over a different character. Personally, I think that if Pokemon were to get 2 reps in 64, a better choice would have been Meowth. He's the main villain. He's been in every single Pokemon episode since the first season. I haven't watched all the new seasons, but I'm sure Team Rocket still has Meowth. And Meowth is way, way, way more well-known than Jigglypuff. So out of these 12 character choices that Sakurai made for 64, I will personally say that 9 of them were good. 2 of them were okay, and 1 was just a bad choice. But it is Sakurai after all, and it's his game, he can do whatever he wants with it, and he does some weird choices all the time. But in my opinion, the roster should have been based on sales and popularity. And it would have been as followed, based on that. Mario, 2 reps for the best-selling NES, SNES, and N64 game. Mario and Bowser. Donkey Kong, 2 reps for second best-selling, SNES and top-selling N64 game. Donkey Kong and King K. Rool. Legend of Zelda, 2 reps for the second best NES and N64 owned by Nintendo, and another top-selling SNES game, Link and Ganon. Not Ganondorf, Ganon. Pokemon, 2 reps for 4 top-selling N64 games, Pikachu and Meowth. Metroid, 1 rep for the third best-selling NES owned by Nintendo, Samus. Kirby, 1 rep for 2 high-selling NES games, just Kirby. Star Fox, 1 rep for high-selling NES and N64, Fox, of course. F-Zero, 1 rep for high-selling NES, Captain Falcon, of course. Pilot Wings, 1 rep, high-selling N64 game, and over 2 million SNES sales. I don't know who the rep would be in that, though, but, Pilot Wings would be a good choice, based on sales. Punch-Out, 1 rep, the only other NES game owned by Nintendo to break 2 million units sold, Little Mac. I may be an advocate of playing heroes versus villains, but I guess Smash wasn't really originally intended for heroes and villains to fight each other. I believe it was originally just a game so you could battle with your favorite heroes to see which one was the best hero. With this in mind, I think the roster would have been something a little more like this. Mario, 2 reps for the best-selling NES, SNES, N64. Mario and Yoshi. Donkey Kong, 2 reps for the second best NES and top-selling N64. Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong. Zelda, 1 rep, second best NES and 64 owned by Nintendo and top selling SNES, Link. Pokemon 1 rep for 4 top selling N64, just Pikachu. Metroid, just Samus. Kirby, Star Fox, F-Zero, Captain Falcon. Pilotwings yet again, because they actually had a lot of sales, believe it or not. And Punch-Out, Little Mac again.
Oh, and excuse me, but I forgot to add in Ness to the list. So, I mean, he could kind of go either way because the sales weren't that good, but I think he still deserves a slot.
So yeah, that would have just been a lot more reasonable if you asked me. I mean, there's no reason for Luigi to have been in Smash 64. 3 Mario reps was kind of overdoing it in my opinion. I mean, given that Yoshi in Smash isn't really a Mario rep, but I mean, he pretty much is a Mario rep. And yeah, Jigglypuff just didn't need to be in the game. I'm going to go over Super Smash Bros. Melee next, in my next video, and hopefully Super Smash Bros. Brawl and Smash 4 when the final roster comes out on that. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to see more. Peace out, guys.